Hello, and welcome to my website. My name is Laurie Smith, and this is just going to be an update, really. I haven't been around for a while. Had planned to do some things, some more video work and some more blog talk radio uh, shows that I do with the One Child Abuse Survivor to Another Restoration. And, you know, I sort of had to put all that off. It's just a sad, sad time for me right now. August the 4th, my husband passed away, Cecil, and we had been together for 23 years. So it's a hard blow. We knew it was coming. I have mentioned it previously in several different things that I've done online. Um, that he was very sick and terminally ill, and that we deal with his health and trying to keep him alive. And I just give it up to God. Because he was diagnosed 17 years ago with terminal liver disease and with 2 to 5 years to live. And so we had 17 years. And so we were not expecting to get 17 years together. We were just hoping every year for one more year, or, let's say 1 or 2 more years or something. Some of them later after he started to live a little longer, and we thought, well, maybe we'll get 5 more years, and then 5 more years, and 5 more years would go by, you know. And it's a sad thing. His body he couldn't take it anymore. It's just the disease just took over his body, and he just, he couldn't do it anymore. And so he went to heaven, I'm sure of it. And I'm glad he's not suffering anymore. I was juggling a full-time job really at home, trying to look after him, which, was easy because, he was able to do some things for himself. But I was trying to help him out as much as I could, and I wanted to be with him and help him instead of having a home health care nurse in here 24/7 sort of thing. So, I was able to do that for him. That's really what my wish was that I could be with him to the end. And if I went first, well, that's the way it goes. But if he went before I did, that I wanted to be there with him to the very end, and we did. We had he came home. He went to the hospital with a gout issue. That's what they figured that it was a few months ago, and early sort of summer, and it really took a toll on his health. He was on some medication that I think really it wasn't helping him out, and he just spiraled downhill really quickly. Just stopped eating, stopped drinking. His kidneys shut down. We had no idea his kidneys were shutting down because the last report was that his kidneys were fine, and so within he went to. He went into the hospital the week before he died, and they said he might be able to come home. So I was so excited, and because they didn't realize that his kidneys were shutting down, and then the next day they were like, no, we did the tests and his kidneys are shutting down and he's dying. So they tried to save him one time with a certain treatment, and that didn't work, and so they sent him home, palliative home care. It was just me and him, and so I was with him in his final breaths when he left. And it was difficult, very difficult to watch my husband pass away. I wanted to go with him, really. I was like, can't I just go with him? I mean, life without him doesn't sound so good. But, I told him, years ago, he'd worry. He'd be like, well, what are you going to do? Because he's been my support, my main support. He's my husband. And he's been my main support, for 23 years. I didn't even go public with my stuff till 2009, and we've been together since 1995. So he knew about the abuse. He knew all about sort of, what I've been through. He's been a great source of encouragement for me and support, and very compassionate, empathetic. He was not abused as a child, but he knows what pain is, and he knows what it is to be hurt. And he always tried to sort of help me to see the better side of life. To look at to look for the good things. He was a good encouragement for me to believe in myself. He was very encouraging of me to do these shows, these blog talk shows I did starting 2009. And he encouraged me through all the video stuff that I was doing and on my writing my books. And he was just very encouraging, to me to do what I needed to do to heal, because he couldn't really help me in that department. He wasn't abused. He just he was just a good support buddy. You know, I could talk to him about anything, anytime, and he was more than willing to listen and to try to understand and to comfort. And so I miss him terribly. Um, it's just been a month and a few days since he passed away, and I'm grieving, of course. I'm still working, I have to work and everything, and I'm very much on my own. The Because he was terminally ill, the friends that we had sort of took off and left us basically on our own, which is kind of understandable. People don't want to be around sick people. Even his family sort of, yeah, first were supportive and then just buggered off. And I'm talking about his siblings. And they tried to be supportive for a while, and I think it becomes too hard. It's too hard to watch somebody die. I know I just sat there and did it myself, and it's hard to watch your husband die. It's hard to watch a family member pass away, knowing that they're going and there's nothing you can do about it. It's completely out of your control. And basically, I mean, we had um, 23 wonderful years, and we had our spats and we had our ups and downs and time apart, even, separated for 5 years here, and just little things like that. But we were always together in our heart. We always would say that we'd be like, no, we are eternally together as soulmates. And so, it's a sad, sad thing. He was not a perfect man. Nobody's perfect. And he made his share of mistakes in the past, but he was in his old, I met him in his older years, we got together when I was already almost 30, he was almost 50. And I didn't know anything about his past, and except for the fact that, he had a whole life before me. And, but he's not perfect. He wasn't perfect. Who's perfect? Nobody. But what I found him to be was a good man. He was willing to change, and willing to take responsibility when he needed to. And I think that's great. I think when he was younger, he may have had trouble with that. But after I met him, he seemed to really sort of grab a hold of that. That we have to be responsible for our behavior. We have to be responsible for, what we say and what we do. And in this relationship, I had talked about it on some of my previous work, and even wrote about it a little bit in my book, in one of my books, A Life of Death, the Redemption. And that when we first got together, I said, if we're not going to make each other's lives better, then we don't need to be together. There's the door, because I've just lived through a whole lifetime of abuse, and I was running at the age of 29. I met him on the run, right? And I didn't want any more of that. I wanted to have a good life. And so, as much as I'm grieving, and I miss him terribly, and it'll be a long time, before I'm probably feeling all right about this whole thing, because he was so good to me, and I haven't had very many people in my life be good to me. And so, just on a very, I guess an easy, superficial level, yes, but not somebody who was willing to give 23 years of their life to me. That's a big gift. It's a huge gift. And so I didn't take it lightly. I didn't take advantage of it. I didn't take it for granted. This man was willing to spend his life with me. That's the biggest gift a person can give to somebody. So, as much as I'm grieving and sad, these last 23 years, even with his illness and the problems that we faced because of it, which has been all kinds of stuff, financial, emotional, social, I mean, you name it. When you're terminally ill, I mean, things are a real problem. And they have been for a long time, 17 years. But we managed to stick it out, and our main goal was every day to just live like it's our last and enjoy it. And so that's what we did. And so we made it through, with more good days than bad, for sure. And I would say, like, this last 23 years has been the best time of my life. I mean, before I met him, I was very much lost. Really didn't know myself, didn't know what I was even doing on this planet. Was just running basically all the time, running from my past, right? Until I faced it, 2009, basically 2007 is sort of when it all hit rock bottom, but for me, not for Cecil, but for me. Um, you know, by 2009, I was pretty well speaking out and doing the work that I've been doing. So, but I just would say the last 23 years, as much as I'm sad and grieving, I also, for me, it was the best time of my life. So I'm also very thankful, and happy that he's not suffering anymore. I miss him dearly, but he was just going to suffer more and more and more all the time. So his body just couldn't do it. So that's an update about what's been going on in my life. That's why I haven't been around. He was getting sicker and sicker, and we kind of saw the writing on the wall. Even though we didn't sit around saying, "Oh, you might be dying," we both knew and had talked about it that if this was it, because we faced it for so many years, what we needed to do to get in place, and so it's very sad, and but, we have to keep going, on this side of it, right? And he would worry. He'd be like, "I don't know what you're going to do. I'm worried about you," because he knew my past. He knew my issues with not being able to cope very well. Um, you know, is not handling things very well. And before I met him, and even after I met him, was unable to cope with the really PTSD trauma left over from the abuse that I suffered as a child. But I've done a lot of work, and I told him, I said, well, I'll be okay because I've got support. I've got a support system. I can go to any number of places for support for adult survivors of child abuse, and I'm glad that I reached out and got help. I told him, no, I'm going to be fine, but I'm going to miss you if you go before me. And but that's sort of how adult survivors have to really make sure that those things are in place, because things in life can come at any time that'll throw you back down, to where you started, which was rock bottom, trying to climb up again. And you need to get support in place so that you know that it's there, and you can, when you need it, it's there. And I do have that, which is great with the ASCA, Adult Survivors of Child Abuse and More Center program. I can go to any of the meetings, and attend those even online. I actually was doing a support group, but I had to put that on hold with everything that's been going on. Everything got put on hold except for work, just work and come home and take care of Cecil, and that was pretty much it. I did do some minor stuff, took up guitar, things like that. But that was also a coping mechanism for me, because I knew that was going to help me to be able to take my head out of the situation and my thoughts and my feelings and emotions and actually do something physical that takes my brain away from that, because I have to read music. And it was a very, very wise choice, actually, because it gives me something to do to help me cope. And so see these things, whatever you can do, whatever you like to do, there's things that you can do to help yourself if you're a survivor and you're listening to this. But we do need to make sure we get those supports in place, right? But that's just a bit of an update for you. It's been a very sad time, a very quiet time, and I'm very lucky I have a lot of support online. I don't have any support in the city. I have a couple people in the city that are very sweet, and I know that I could call them anytime. But, I'm kind of a loner anyway. Me and Cecil were both loners, so loners together. So, yeah. I like to figure things out in my own space, and I almost don't want an interruption when I'm trying to figure something out, because I need to feel it, experience it, put it where it goes, put it in its proper place, understand it, try to figure out how I'm going to deal with it, and then move on, So, but I do have a lot of support online, which is great. I've got so many friends online that are just amazing people. Can't even name them all. There's just so many. It would take me like an hour just to name them all. And so I thank you if you're watching this, because I post this on Facebook and, on Twitter and everywhere. And so, thank you for your support. I just love you all so much. You're my family, my real family. And so, yeah, it's a sad time, but in the meantime, Cecil will always be in my heart, and we'll never be apart. No, we're eternally together. We're soulmates. And, so he's never really going to be far from me. He's always in my heart. And but he meant everything to me. And even more than my own life, which is why he was worried about me. He's like, because he knows me. He's like, oh, I said, I'm not going to kill myself. You don't have to worry. I won't commit suicide. 2007 is when I made a deal with the Lord, with God, because he was there. And one part of me was ready to give it up and just I couldn't go any further. The other part was like, listen to that voice that's telling you to live, man. You know, and that's 11 years ago. So, um, so I told him, no, honey, I'm just going to keep going. There's things that I want to do. There's things I want to finish off. While I'm still here, before I go home to my eternal home. There's things that I want to accomplish. There's things that I want to do. And so no, I'm sticking it out. But it's a sad, sad time to be, to have to deal with grieving the loss of a loved one. And we all know because we all have to go through it at some point. Right? I've been grieving my whole life, and so I know about grief, all about it. And I'll get through. It's just going to take some time. It takes. People say, "Oh, time heals all wounds," but it really doesn't. Otherwise, I'd be healed. I'd be healed. I wouldn't even have any issues. It's like, yeah, so much time has already gone by. It's like, oh, I should be healed. That's a farce. No, we have to learn how to live with the aftermath of what's happened in our life. This is the issue with child abuse stuff, right? I had to learn how to adjust my thinking about myself, which I still do. I still work on it every day. Every day. It's not something I can just, I'm just better, you know. Um, these things take a lot of energy, and I have time that I've allotted that I allow myself to work on things. And then after that, I got to work, or I got to clean house, or I got to go to the store, or I got to take care of my cat, whatever it is. This is the way it's been with Cecil, So I have certain times, I allow myself to do the work that I need to do, and then the rest is just other things have to get done, right? So we have to prioritize, and we have to make sure that we get help, right? If you're struggling with that, and you're not making any progress, and you're really spiraling down, you have to reach out, even anonymously. That's what I did at first in 2007. I started reaching out anonymously. So, 2008, right in there, because I didn't feel comfortable, telling people anything about my stuff. This was before I started speaking publicly, and I just, didn't know what to do. But I started getting help anonymously, and it was very, very helpful, and I was very thankful to have that. So I've just always encouraged people to do that. Call a hotline, call a help hotline, suicide hotline or survivors hotline. There's so much. There is a lot of help out there, but you have to be the one to reach out. Otherwise, nobody's going to know you need help, right? So this is the issue. So I just wanted to do an update. That's all I'm doing this morning. I plan on going back to doing the blog talk radio and my videos and the biblical work that I was doing with the different videos that I was doing, Healing Word of God and Persecuted Church Worldwide and Living in the Light of Eternity. I really like doing those Bible studies. And also the Blog Talk Radio. But I'm also with NAASCA, NAASCA, NAASCA.org. I hope you go check that website out. That's the National Association of Adult Survivors of Child Abuse, NAASCA. And they have a Blog Talk Radio show too, and they call it SCAN, SCAN. Just go to Blog Talk Radio, type in SCAN, SCAN, or Bill Murray. Just type in Bill Murray online, or SCAN, or NAASCA.org for adult survivors. That's a great website and also a great resource for people. There's a lot of good information on that website. It's probably one of the better ones out there. And I just happen to be volunteering with them right now, but hopefully I'll be able to get on a regular sort of a show with them too as well during the week. That's my plan anyway. And get to that eventually as well. So I'll be broadcasting here shortly. I'm going to I'll set up sort of a post with my broadcasting schedule, and so you'll be able to see it. I'm going to try to stick to it because I have more time now, which is really sad. I'd rather have Cecil here and have no time. That would make me happy. I'd rather have Cecil here and not have any time to do this stuff, right? But unfortunately, it's not. It didn't go the way I wanted it to. So I've got more time now to do this stuff, and I'll be back on broadcasting. But I just want to thank everybody for for your support, for sharing my work, passing the word out there. Um, child abuse prevention is huge for me. Do what you can to help a child. If you know or suspect a child's being abused, you have to do the right thing, and you have to get that child some help. And if you yourself are a survivor, you need to get help, no matter what, even if it's just anonymous or something. Don't struggle on your own, don't suffer on your own. Because even though I'm on my own, especially now without Cecil, um, I'm not really on my own because I belong to the ASCA Adult Survivors of Child Abuse. I have my own group, but I'll be doing pretty soon, eventually, hopefully. But I can go to another group meetings, once a week, and there's other ones that you can go to. So throughout the week, I mean, you technically you could have a meeting like every night with people that can support you, surround you with support, surround you with resources, surround you with empathy and compassion, because they've been there. They know what it's like to be a survivor of abuse, right? Especially a survivor of child abuse, right? So so get help. You know, Even if you're like me and you're a loner and you like to be on your own, you like your own space and your own time. Um, and you don't like a lot of people in your life. There's anonymous support. There's online support groups. You can reach out and get some help, and most of that's. I mean, I'd venture to say 99% of it's free. You just have to have an internet connection. So if you need resources, get a hold of me. Otherwise, go to NAASCA, NAASCA.org, and get some resources. There's some great stuff there. And I wish you a wonderful day. And like I said, I'll post my broadcast schedule pretty soon. And I'm going to try, like I said, to stick to it. And there's so many things that I want to do, and I mean, who knows how many days we have? We don't know how many days we have. We don't know how many years we have. We don't know how many months we have. And so there's things I want to accomplish, and I'll hopefully going forward we'll be broadcasting on a regular basis. It's for anybody that's interested in my work and likes to keep up with what I'm talking about and what I'm doing. So thank you very much for your support, like I said, and I wish you the very best for the weekend, and take good care of yourselves until the next time. Bye-bye.